Hello and welcome to a brief iMovie tutorial where I will be covering the basics on how to get an iMovie project started and put together and exported. So when you open up into iMovie, you might see this screen and you can just press continue and get started. And this is your workspace and this is what you start out with. At the top you have these three buttons: media, projects, and theater. When you're starting a new project, you're going to go into projects and press create new. Now you can do either a movie or a trailer. I'm going to do a movie for this one, and I'm going to show you how I made this tutorial. So when you click new, there's this screen that's brought up and you press import, and this is how you get your files in here. This is how you get your videos. This is how you get your audio in here. Oh look, there's me. Hi me. So you can even record it using the camera that is on the computer. Assuming that you've had this taken from a camera or that's already on the desktop. Oh look, it's me again. I took the screen recording from that and I put it on the desktop and I found it there and I clicked it and pressed import all. So now that brings it into your workspace here. And from here you can scrub through it and you can see what you're working with. And for me it was the previous part of this tutorial. So when you want to get it into your timeline down here, you can drag it, and there's other ways of getting it in. You can also go up there and hover over it and you'll see that plus sign, and that will also add it to your timeline. So now it's a part of your video. Up there it's just like your toolbox rather than actually being in the video. Down here it is a part of the video, and down here you can do a lot of cool things. You see I'm dragging it. You can grab either end of it and you can pull it forward and pull it back. If you want to delete it, you click on it and that will highlight it and you press the delete button. So right now I'm figuring out where I want my beginning to be, and that looks right for what I want my beginning to be. So by pressing the space bar, you can play through it, and in the upper right hand corner you see that screen where it's playing through what you just put in there and what the timeline video will actually look like when it's exported. You can see I'm looking through and watching through the video that I just put in there to make sure this is what I want and to see where I want to cut it off, and just to preview what the final product is going to be. It's kind of like iMovie Inception almost. You can like see. Anyway. Okay, so I'm finding where I want to cut it, and instead of dragging it, you can press Command B and that will cut it wherever that line is. What's called the playhead with the arrow. So this is where I wanted to cut it. I highlight it by clicking on it and I deleted it by pressing delete. So now I have another piece that I want to add into it. So I press that arrow in the upper left hand corner, and this is my new screen recording that I want to put it. It brings it into my toolbox up there, and I click it and drag it down, and then I find where I want it to start, and I want it to start right around here. So I grab it and I drag it to start where I want it to start. Now this does not affect the files up in your, what I've been calling the toolbox, because this is just your timeline. This is where your movie output will be eventually when we export it. So you can grab that bar down there to drag. Let's add a title to the beginning. A title is text that you can put and you see that like before any video or whatever you want to be using it for. So I like this title. You can scrub through them by just hovering over them. You can put the title over the entire or the end or just on top. But when you click it, I want this at the beginning because it's my title screen. And so I just drag it onto and let go, and then when I want to change the text, because title text here does not look good, you click on the purple box. I want this to be called iMovie Tutorial. So when you click on the outside of it and press spacebar to play, you can watch it And that looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to keep it like that. But there are things that you can do to change it if you'd like. Click on that box again once or twice, and you can change the font. So I could have it this instead, but I do prefer this one. You can change the size of the font, where you want it, if you want it centered on either side. You can change if it's bold, sometimes when it's italicized, other things. Let's talk about backgrounds a little bit. There are lots of backgrounds that you can put. I put my text over my video, but you can also put text over a background. And this is done a lot, and I like this black one. It's just nice and basic, but you can do more fancy ones if you'd like. So just grab that and drag it, and it will create a just a black screen that you can do anything with. So we're going to go find another text. I'll use this one. Drag it onto it and change what the text says. To change what the text says, you just click on the purple box above the video on your timeline. I'm just going to view this. Yep, I think that looks good. That bottom line again, you see you can scroll between where your timeline is. So that's kind of jumpy between the two video files. I want that to be a bit smoother. So I'm going to go up here into transitions, and there are all these different transitions that you can pick, and this is called cross dissolve, and that will take two pictures and cross them together, or videos. When you use photos rather than videos, it's basically the same thing as this. So I like cross blur, so you grab it and drag it in between videos, and see that adds that nice effect, like bridging the two. And so you can change the duration of the cross blur by clicking on it. And then I also want one over here at my end title. See, it doesn't have to be a movie, it can be a movie to a picture. In this case, just a black screen. Can be really anything, any two like objects that are visual in the timeline. So let's talk about this. If you double click onto any video on the timeline, there's a lot of effects that you can change. You can change the color, like the contrast, where the light is, all these different things, and they'd be more noticeable if they were a video rather than like a video of real life world rather than just a screen recording. You can crop it differently. You can do Ken Burns or fit, and I'm just going to do fit. You can stabilize shaky video. You can change the speed if you want a freeze frame like in sport shots. You can change the filter, and that's information. So finally, I'm going to talk a bit about screen recording, or recording audio. You click this button after you've clicked the microphone to the bottom left-hand corner. Hello, this is me recording my voice. Hello, this is me recording my voice. And this will allow you to record that audio and play it back. Now you have audio a part of the timeline as well as video a part of the timeline. So you click that microphone to get back into the play button. So now that you have audio in your video, it's become a part of your toolbox up here. It's not in audio, it's actually just in your My Media space. So you can drag that down and bring it in to your videos and do it kind of like a title screen, like having text on it. And you can play it back and see what it's like. Most often, however, your videos will have audio in them, so you don't really have to worry about adding audio later, but that's how you add voice tracks, and you can also add music this way. So when you're completely finished with your video and you want to export it as a single video rather than this timeline, you go up into this box here that has an arrow coming out of a box, and you're given all these options when you click on it, and click File. This is your title of the video. I'm going to call it iMovie Tutorial. You can change the title later on, but for now. It's good to just set it as you want. Format, video and audio is what I'm going to pick, but you can also do just audio if you want it as an audio file. Resolution, 1080p is the highest one, so I'm going to do that. Quality, now this one is where you'd think you'd want to do best, but this file is huge. It's 11 gigs, and it's a 10-minute video or whatever. So I'm going to go high, and look how that's like a fifth of how big it is. So unless you really need it to be perfect quality, just high is fine, and compressed, better quality. And then you click next. If you click this arrow next to the name, it will allow you to put it wherever you want. So I want it on the desktop. It's already the name. I put it, and I press save. Now it's gone up into this little circle thing, and when it fills up, then that means that your video has fully exported. Just leave iMovie open until it is. I'm going to cancel that. You cancel it by clicking the circle and pressing the little X. So normally it would go right there, but I canceled it, so it's not going to be there. So I hope you enjoyed this brief iMovie tutorial, and I hope you learned something. And if you have any questions, there are many online resources that will allow you to figure out what you need to do. Thanks.